plant community, I'm Pam and welcome to Thriving Thursdays. Hey guys, TGPT. Thank goodness plants are thriving. This will be a 4-part series for my Thriving Thursday limited edition 4-part series where I discuss a plant or two that is doing very well, that is thriving, that's came from the brink of death possibly, that's doing very well under the care that I have been providing. So in today's episode 1, I will be sharing with you 2 philodendrons that have grown in my care that I'm very proud of. I'm actually going to start with, drum roll, little bee. Oh, this pot is kind of heavy. Philodendron, silver sword. This plant, it's a nice size, guys, and look at the mature leaves. Look at that. It is gorgeous. And it's got another shoot. This thing has been growing and growing for me. When I first got this plant, and I've had this plant, I say for, I want to say 6 or 7 months now. But when I did buy it, it only had one, 2, 3, and maybe this 4th leaf right here. So since I've had it, it's grown all of this. It's grown 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the 5th leaf that's trying to unfurl right now as we speak. When I got it, I never did anything with the pot medium that it's in. And the pot medium that it came in looks like more like some regular potting mix, and we have some orchid bark mixed with a little bit of perlite. It seemed to love it, and I was kind of, happy with the soil mixture, even though it's a little bit more, orchid bark in here than I would prefer. This plant loves it. I have it sitting actually in my sunroom, but it's also, I say about 10 feet away from my west facing window, but I have it on the floor where it's only receiving kind of bright indirect light, and it's also underneath my fancy grow light. And it seems to love it in this spot. I'm not taking it out of that spot. It's growing tremendously. And I mean, it's just rewarding me with big leaves. I mean, look at this. Let me see. If I can pull it back. Look how full it is. It's just beautiful. It's growing up. And I just can't wait to see what it really becomes. I mean, if this is just the beginning, my goodness. Eventually, I'm going to have to probably get it some kind of stake. And probably just, attach it on this part. But I'll see. That'll probably only come into play if I decide to repot this. But like I said, it's not growing out of the pot yet. It doesn't seem to be root bound yet. So I'm going to keep it in this container as long as it needs to be in the container. I water it when I let it completely dry out. I let it completely dry out. To me, in my care, philodendrons work best or grow best under my conditions when I allow the soil to dry out completely. And then I'll give it a good drink, let it come through the drainage hole. I do it twice and let it drain out real good and put it back in its cache pot. And I usually don't have to water them too often, so I say maybe about once a week maybe. But we're going into the winter season now, so of course I may have to pull back. But I really don't have a schedule for my plants at all. My plants kind of tell me when they need water. And when I go around, I can tell. I'm now at a point where I can actually kind of like look at my plants and tell when it's thirsty. If I'm not sure, then I will stick my finger in the soil If I'm not trusting what my finger is feeling, then my trusty sidekick would be my moisture meter, which saves a lot of the plants most of the time. And the moisture meter is very good to have, especially if you're a beginner plant parent and you're not fully understanding that concept of the water versus light ratio. Now, my next plant, which I am just pleased with, and this is a philodendron as well, is actually my Philodendron Brazil. Oh, I don't want to break. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at how full it is. Look at how full it is. Look at how long it is. And I love the Philodendron Brazil. The reason why I love it is unique in color. Each leaf is literally like a fingerprint. No two are alike. I love the pinkish tone, or hues you would say, that's actually in the stem. And this thing has rewarded me with tons of growth. Now it is kind of bald sparse up top, or bald. But I do plan on next season, next springtime, probably chopping this bad boy and propagating it and putting it back on the top so I can get another fuller, lush look on top. Now I'm particularly also proud of this plant. It's really thrived for me. Because this is one of the plants that I acquired in the very beginning of my plant journey. I was not understanding the concept of light versus water ratio. I was not understanding the importance of, or the damage that heavy soil and a lot of moisture to the soil, what damage it can do to the plant root. So having said that, when I brought this plant, I ordered it online, because I tell you guys, honestly, yeah, I don't know, if you have the time to travel hours out, I'm not knocking it. Unfortunately, I have a lot on my plate. I don't have that kind of time to travel far. I mean, as far as driving for literally hours or so to different stores, but the stores near me, as far as the big box stores, are not really good as far as the plants are concerned. So the majority of my plants, I can honestly say that I've ordered online. It's very rare, and I do mean very rare occasions, I was able to come across a gem at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, and I don't even want to discuss Walmart altogether. That's just a whole nother, topic right there. I don't want to talk about that. But I ordered this plant online nonetheless, and the soil was heavy. It didn't have a lot of perlite in it, so it didn't have very good drainage. It was heavy and it was sopping wet. I'm a new plant parent. I didn't know that it shouldn't be constantly wet like this. So I left it in the soil. And what happened? Little by little, the leaves literally, this size. The plant was so full and so lush, and it was literally all leaves almost looked like this size of a leaf. But they were turning yellow, falling off one by one. And what was I thinking? Oh no, my green thumb did not activate. And I just thought I was just killing this plant. And as I was going through my journey and I was learning new things, I came to the conclusion, look, if you want this plant to live, you need to get it out of that soil. And so that's what I did. I got it out of the soil, as much as the wet soil that I can. I kind of like let it dry a little bit, actually out of the pot. It was still clumps of the wet soil still attached to the roots, but I kind of like laid it down. I think, and I believe I wrapped some paper around it and tried to absorb some of the moisture out. And that actually did work, believe it or not. I pressed gently to absorb it. The paper soaked up the moisture from the soil. And then I made my own potting soil, and I repotted the plant in the same pot that it came in, but just made the soil drier and airier. Excuse me. Ugh. Now, in the process of me doing that, almost all the leaves, guys, fell off this plant. Literally, I was down to probably like 4 or 5 leaves. And out of this one, Probably too much light. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, probably too much light. But I'm gonna speed it up, guys, because it looks like my battery might be running low. But when I got this plant and repotted it, see how the stems are right here? It was nothing but stems sticking out. All the leaves that fell off, they died. But what I did was I took my little sprayer, because we was in there when I had this plant. It wasn't the growing season. I sprayed my plant every day, and I had it in an east-facing window, sitting on a coffee table in my home that I was living in at the time. I sprayed it every day, and over time, new growth started popping up, and new growth started popping up, and over time, it gave me all of this. All of this. And look, I did not even propagate anything in the top. I never cut this plant. I never re-rooted it. I never did anything. It literally gave me all of this. It came from the brink of death and provided me with all this full foliage. So I am tremendous. This is like my #1 thriving plant story. So I just love it so much. And now I have it in my sunroom, hanging kind of by my west-facing window, but it's facing this way. And it seems to love it so far. If it gets too intense, I didn't have it in here during the summertime, but if next summer comes and it seems like it's too intense for the plant, like the leaves start to bleach or something, that's when I'll move it into a lower light type of situation where it won't burn the leaves. So there you have it, guys. That's the end of my part 1 of my Thriving Thursdays. Keep in mind, if you love foliage as much as I do and you love listening to planty things, please definitely subscribe and hit that like button. I appreciate your support. Enjoy your day wherever you are in the rest of the world. Until next time, much love. Bye.